In 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it's time for another episode of DAAA Chicago 60 Podcast. This week on the podcast, we have for you a follow-up on sports betting going on in Illinois.
And this weekend, weathers are moving on up.
In addition to weather going up, so are the gas tax and the driver's license fee and vehicle registration.
And for the fifth year in a row, it's time for Front Porch concerts.
In addition to that, we have a very special episode because we have our very first guest star on the Chicago 60 Podcast, and he will be on quite a bit throughout the course of the podcast. We can't wait to introduce you to him. And of course, we always end with the Jag-Off of the Week. With all that, we can't wait to get to all the stories for this week. So now, Norm, it is time for DAAA Podcast. All right. Cheers to the podcast.
The podcast.
If you're not drinking, folks, you're doing something wrong. Or again, if your life choice is to not drink, totally fine. Do you. Whatever it is, you do it. All right. Well, Norm, I think we should start off the podcast by introducing our guest star because we have a lot of interesting stories, and we definitely would love to get his perspective.
Definitely.
We have known this gentleman for quite, I think, a couple years now.
Yeah,
I think it's been.
good.
Seems like, yeah. I've worked with him on a couple of other projects, and we'll talk about that a little bit. He's super, super cool.
And I just met him yesterday.
Yeah! That's a lie.
That's a lie.
That's a
That's a
lie.
lie.
God, cheap joke, Norm.
I know.
God. Usually that's my thing.
I
You're
know.
going off the rails,
I know.
bro. All right. But this guy has, he's a up-and-coming actor. He's been in the Chicago acting scene for quite a while. He just finished an amazing stint at the Artistic Home Theater doing a play called Requiem for a Heavyweight, which I went to go see, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Like I said, he just was in a short film that I wrote called Tries. We just filmed that, so we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about how he got involved in he's a music producer, he does rap. He's basically like Chance the Rapper without the Chance the Rapper bit, but he's fucking dope. And he's freaking awesome. And we are so excited. Not only is he going to be on this podcast, but he's going to be on for a lot more. He's going to be part of our crew. We're going to do a lot of comedy sketches with him. He's just an awesome individual. I can't wait to introduce you to Ron Russell!
I don't want to. Golf clap.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, Ron?
I'm so happy.
Oh, and I have to say, we have to give a quick shout out to our man in the booth, Manny Fresh, of course. Manny Fresh. So,
Absolutely.
all right. Ron, it is a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
It is a pleasure to be here, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Fantastic. Cool. Ron, how are you, my friend?
I'm better now, man.
Oh!
You guys, that's a hell of an intro. I should walk out and maybe y'all do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we embrace this moment? Do you notice this Oreo
It's like an
situation?
Oreo right now.
We've completely
Look at that.
outnumbered
Look
you.
at that. Yeah.
I'm very intimidated.
Yeah. Feel comfortable.
Yeah.
This is a Chicago bus situation.
It's a good
I'm so glad they're my friends.
Yeah, you're lucky, dude. Because this like Southside shit. You be like,
I'd be getting mugged right now as we're in the South Side.
run them mics, man.
Yeah, that's right.
We probably asked.
Yo, man, you got that equipment and shit?
Yeah,
All right,
that's
I'm
what
gonna
sounds
take that. All right, well, yes, here you go.
Mike,
No complaints for me, sir. Here
my
you go.
gift to you.
Yes, I brought these down specifically to be mugged. Perfect. Well, Ron, we are super pumped to have you on the podcast, of course. We have a lot of cool, exciting stories, which I think will be interesting. We'd love to get your perspective on it as well.
I'm excited.
So, and then we'll talk about you a little bit. Make sure we get to you.
I don't have much to talk about.
Oh, I think come on. We have tons of things. You're such a cool individual. So let's introduce our man. Let's get to know Ron a little bit before we get into all the stories. So you've been in Chicago for quite a while now. You're originally from Chicago?
Born and raised, been here my entire life.
Oh yeah.
Southsider. But I've been living up north for quite some time now. Since like 04. So I've been up here for a long time. But
Nice.
yeah, but I'm still a Southsider. You know, when it comes down to the Cubs and the Sox, you know, I definitely gotta roll with the black and the white. Man.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, we love all Chicago
We do.
teams here.
Absolutely.
That's
We
right.
all-
We won't.
We won't say
We
anything
won't.
else about the, but yeah.
Yes.
I'm a South Sider to my heart, though.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. And then you started out in your career. You were mostly a music producer and a rapper, right? You were with a group.
Yeah.
You had a crew and everything, right?
Things started out. Music was huge passion. Still is. More of a writer, rapper. We had producers on our team. My boy Malik Allah, Malik Sizzle, my boy Greg D, Self-Born, my boy Will, Smurs, those guys, they supplied all the tracks for us. But my crew, the Outfitters, Sanction Language, that's my family. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it all starts from. That's where all this creative energy, that's what it kind of harnessed at.
Very cool, very cool. And then from that, you've done some cool stuff, some jobs here and there in the city and whatnot, but then you slowly transitioned into the acting realm, right?
Yeah.
And so how did that come about? How did you decide to go from the rap game basically to the acting realm?
It's funny how both are very similar, it's all, creative. Music has always been that forefront, it's gonna always be there.
Yeah.
But then, some friends of mine, people in the industry that I knew, they were just like, you should try this. But back when we were doing hip hop back in the day, it was different. It wasn't all of this collaborating, doing songs with pop artists, for instance, or even if you rap, you better not be talking about on some modeling shit. You know what I'm saying? Just because it was different. So things are way different now. There's a lot of different opportunities. You can do so much more now. And I just kind of use music as something for me to kind of grab onto, because I didn't have any acting experience. So I just used all of my on stage experience and performing. And I just utilized that and, started taking classes, started learning the foundation. I didn't want to just jump into something and not have any type of foundation.
Right.
And I feel like that was the best thing to do. And just came across some really good acting schools and came across some really good people and just really started to just push forward with that. So the music kind of opened the doors for acting. And, of course, everyone had to do the 9-to-5, the corporate thing on the side. Basically, I just got tired of doing corporate. I wanted to do something that gave me joy.
Yes.
Every day.
The creative element.
And the creative stuff is what makes me happy, even on a Tuesday when it's 20 below.
Nice.
So acting kind of just found me, and it's a lot of fun. I feel like it's the best decision I ever made.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. And yeah, you've been doing some cool stuff. Yeah. So you just finished, and we were talking about this before the podcast, you just finished your first major theatrical production at the Artistic Home Theater, where you've done classes.
Right.
And you got cast in...
Shout out to Kathy and John.
Excellent. We'll tag all of them for sure.
Patrick.
But what's cool... So I went to go see it. It's called Requiem for a Heavyweight.
Requiem for a Heavyweight.
An excellent play. I really enjoyed it, and it's I'll let you explain a little bit more about it, but also really interesting is that the play was nominated for some Jeff Awards. You're going to be going to the Jeff Awards soon, so please tell more people about it, what's it about, and things like that.
Requiem for a Heavyweight. Rod Serling, it was on Broadway back in the day, and an amazing director, one of my instructors, John Mossman, adapted this play for our theater. And I have to tell you, it is, when most people hear that it's, 2.5 hours long, it's kind of frightening, but it's a quality 2.5 hours. Like, it goes by fast because it's so much drama. It's so much energy. It's just all these different highs and lows. And it's a very well put, beautiful story of this fighter named Mountain McClintock, and he's over the hill. And basically he goes from, he was top 5, as a heavyweight, and all of a sudden he's no longer able to fight. So he literally had to just kind of like cold turkey to stop boxing, because if he continued, one more injury can cause him to be seriously injured.
Right.
But it's just a great story of this boxer loving his trainer so much that he would, take an odd job just to kind of like help him out of a situation, and how this trainer, this manager,
Mage, right?
Mage, played by one of my instructors, Patrick Thornton, who's phenomenal. And he's a horrible person. You know, he just takes advantage of him over and over and over again. And it's not until the end you find out that, you know, Mountain still goes and, you know, does the right thing for this guy to get him out of trouble. Yeah. But it's just a great play. We're nominated for a Jeff Award for as far as the play go, best performance, also best actor, actress, and also director. So hopefully we take some.
Take all of them, or take at least a couple.
Take them all.
Take them all.
You know, all that shit.
Yeah, no, I went and saw it, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, the 2.5 hours flew by, and the performances were fantastic. Particularly Mount McClintock and Maish, those two guys were phenomenal, and I believe Grace,
Patrick,
the character of Grace, right? She was really great.
And
there was one part in there I'm like, this is interesting.
The little racy part, yeah. See, we don't even see much because we're always backstage, so every now and then we kind of like peek out to kind of like see what's going on.
She took off her robe and like just silk.
I didn't even know until the photos.
Where's this going? Is this porn?
You was like, oh,
okay.
this.
She's nice. She's very nice. Hello.
No, it's not one of those kind of.
No, it was not. No, it was very tasteful. It was very good. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a great play. We would have reviewed it on the podcast. The problem is that it ended right when we started. So kind of review to get people to go out when it's already over. People will be pissed at us.
It's got multiple Jeff Awards, so I don't think it's already got 5 stars.
Yeah,
there.
I think.
Oh no, it's 4 stars.
4 stars. 4 stars. Yeah.
Take it, but Chicago 60, give it 5 stars. 5 stars.
5 out of 4.
An extra star. Yeah,
an extra star because it got nominated for a Jeff Award. Very cool, man. Excellent.
Amazing. Yeah,
so really excited about that. And then the last thing, obviously, you and I have worked together, and we just finished a film, a short film. Yes, Tribes, which I wrote. Yeah. Plug. And then he loves my plugs.
That's
and
right.
And then thank God I don't need hair plugs. And then so we wrote this film, and you were one of the leads in it. It was you and Landon Smith. Shout out to him. Yes, we'll have him on the podcast as well in the future. Yeah. And
I think he's on set right now.
Yeah, he is on set.
He's a busy man.
He's a busy man.
Every time I see one of his Instagrams or something, he's doing something else.
He's a doer.
Pretty ass motherfucker.
I know he is.
He is a very pretty.
He is a pretty motherfucker.
He is a pretty
motherfucker. I'm like, if I had your white skin, what would I do with it?
He's blushing right now. He don't even like that shit.
His ears are burning. His ears are burning. 3 men are talking about him.
That's right.
Right. But so we'll have him on. But that was a cool experience, and you played a cop. Yeah. And Landon also played a cop, and it was about shooting an unarmed deaf kid in an alleyway and your struggle. It was about it's kind of the struggle between the two partners and what do they do in this situation after this white cop has just shot this kid, and we don't know who is he and why did it happen, all that, and just the inner turmoil between the two, and you both have families, and how does that happen? So, that's the general storyline. We're really excited for it to come out. It'll come out in a couple months or so. We're going to throw it out to festivals and stuff, so we'll definitely talk about it more on the podcast because obviously self-promotion. But the only question I have about that for you is, as an actor, how was it for preparing for that type of role? Because it's a very intense role. It's a lot of heated emotion. Obviously, I saw you because I was there for the filming. You killed it, but preparing for it, I didn't really see that. How did you mentally prepare for that role, and how was that?
Research. I created a background and outline, for my character, and just really built it out, and just really just played on the emotions of the situation. It's enough in the script to give you something to kind of like work with. I just kind of just played how, life in Chicago, black kid, detectives, cops, I grew up on the South Side, so these situations weren't something that was like far-fetched.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it really wasn't that difficult for me to kind of put myself in a place to be able to pull those strong emotions out. As people will see, it gets really intense.
Yeah.
You saw us.
Oh yeah.
And shout out to Artistic Home, Meisner Technique. Meisner helps you to get, you're playing it real.
Right.
You know, there's nothing fake about what we were doing in that scene.
Right.
So you're just playing like a real situation, you know, in real life.
Yeah, that was the whole point. The script just kind of outlined them. So you guys just took the script and made it your own, and it was really cool to see. And I'm really, really happy you were part of it.
I'm glad I was a part of it, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Wrote it in mind for a great one here. So that's fantastic stuff. All right, excellent. Well, hey, so while we're gonna have you on. We're gonna keep talking about some cool shit now coming up, but. What's next on the docket? What's coming up next for you? Besides you being part of the podcast, you're going to be a recurring guest star here.
So excited about that.
Ron will be on when we have other guests. Ron will just show up whenever he shows. You'll show up when you have time.
I'm just gonna show up. I'm already be. You know, when y'all turn the camera on, Ron is already be there.
That's right.
So
Ron will be on quite a bit more as well, and then we're gonna be involved in some sketch comedy that we got coming out. Norm and I are working on some sketches, so cool stuff coming for that. So you're gonna be involved with that.
Absolutely.
But apart from the Chicago 60 podcast stuff, you'll be part of. What else is coming up for you on the doc? You've been in. You obviously you have an agent. I know you are doing some commercials and stuff like that. But anything else big you want to promote real quick?
As of right now, things are kind of on a hush. I like to keep things alone until it's done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Music is on the horizon though. I've been writing some new concepts, and so I'm thinking about an EP. That'll be before the end of the summer. So that is something that I will kind of like throw out there. Tammy, yeah, it's coming. You've been hinting, and I've been listening. The music is coming.
Excellent.
I got some stuff that hasn't that I recorded like a little while ago, and I haven't even put that stuff out. So I got some stuff to kind of like springboard myself off of. And,
Perfect.
So music is on the horizon. I'm still working on projects. You know, always auditioning, and got some things in the works. Just can't really say just yet.
Yes, okay.
But
hush.
I'm gonna be on here more often, and when things are more crystal.
Yes.
Boom, I tell you.
Yeah. Well, when that EP is
Absolutely.
there, we'll promote it. We'll plug it and everything. So that'll be fantastic.
We'll be using it in most of our stuff because that's of course.
Yeah, man.
We gotta support the fam.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Cool.
Let's go.
Well, with that, Ron, we have some stories and some news from the week for the people of Chicago and people of Illinois to know about, and we want to get your perspective. Norm, let's start with you. You have a few stories. I know you were talking about what's going on with this weather, Norm.
Y'all, it's about to get hot up in here. Oh man, the long-awaited moment after snow and rain, and then snow again, and sleet and rain. And God, what's going on in Chicago? Like, okay, so let's talk about this. First of all, if we look around the U.S., something fucked up is happening because either Jesus is coming back or global warming's real. But
it's both.
I like because I mean, what Texas is flooded, like half the hurricanes, tornadoes. I was actually expecting to see it like a fiery tornado at some point.
Oh, that's when you know. The world is coming to an end.
Yeah, it's over then. That's shut it down.
It's
like everyone stopped and you know what?
Moses is just flying around. I told you, you idiots!
Like, you know, I'm just gonna go home. I'm not gonna call into work because there's just no fucking point. So, but yeah. So
could you imagine that phone call? Hey, I'm not coming into work. There's a fiery tornado, I think this is cause to stay home and just.
It's just like no, I see it. I'm telling you, it's happening. You want a video? Okay, fine.
Watching Game of Thrones and the dragon shooting up everything doesn't count as a fiery tornado.
Right.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. There's a fiery tornado outside.
Harry, there's a dragon killing everyone. I'm telling you, it's real. Look at it. Oh man, it's fucking frightening. I'm not gonna be in work tomorrow. Bye.
Spoiler alert for GOT.
Oh, that's terrible.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, but they've had dragons in it for the last 8 seasons, and there's only 5.
Yeah.
So, but back to the weather. Yes. So apparently, this weekend, I think Friday it's going to be 70. Saturday is supposed to be 80. The weather is going to do what it's supposed to do in the middle of May, which probably we needed that a few months ago.
Right in time for my birthday.
So it's going to be beautiful outside, apparently, because let's be real, in Chicago, we have no clue what's happening.
No.
True.
You have to prepare in Chicago for any inevitability of weather.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you have to be prepared.
You better.
You better have a coat.
Yeah.
And like
just in case.
Yeah. Keep a blanket in your trunk. That's my grandmother always said.
But I mean, it's gonna be beach weather. I'm excited. It's gonna be beach weather.
Beach weather.
And you know what that means? Boat season. Okay, so anyone out there, anyone you know of, anyone is your friend, cousin's girlfriend has a boat, a yacht. I'm not talking about a baby boat. I'm not talking about a little dinghy. I'm not talking about something you inflate with your mouth. I'm talking about a legitimate metal boat. All right, that you just you bring it over during the summer and then it magically disappears during the winter. Where do they put those boats, by the way? Does anyone know?
There's marinas.
Who takes
places.
those boats to places?
People who have nothing else to do.
Okay, so if you're one of those
really
people,
rich people who have nothing else to do.
You gotta be about that boat life.
Not me. Not me.
Hey, I don't know where the boats go. I don't know, like a boat closet or something.
I mean, I'd love to be in that boat closet.
Well, I see all the boats in those marinas, and they're just chilling out there, and I'm just like, who owns these boats?
Thank you. So if you happen to know someone who owns a boat, I am looking for a boat. We are looking for a boat. Because we would love to hop on a boat one day. Just one day.
Hold on now. Y'all know the rules when you trying to get on a boat.
What's the rule?
You gotta have chicks with you. They ain't gonna let us 3 guys on no damn boat without no women.
But what if we are so hilarious that the chicks come to the boat?
Hey, for the record, I can't go nowhere on a boat without my girl. So
yeah, you can't just like you need girls to get on a boat. But by the way, my girl has to be
coming with me on
Right.
that damn boat, right?
Cool. So we have a +1 who is a female. We're in. Yes.
That works. that works for me.
Tammy's on board. I hope.
But we just want to get on a boat. We just want to have a moment on a boat because it's one of my dreams to be on a yacht in the middle of nowhere, fully dressed in black, sweat my ass off, and just be like, I did, Mom. Look, I told you I was going to be something. And then, get off said boat because it's not mine.
On a boat. And we will crack a champagne bottle
on
the boat.
On a boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll do another video.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there will be a replica boat of the boat we're on, and then cracking another, and then just like Inception with the mirror scene,
it'll just keep going until you can't paint anymore.
That architect and/or engineer will really have to be an intricate person.
Yeah. That's going to be a cheap bottle of champagne because we're paying for the figurine, and that's about it.
Sticking it in there is going to be. That's going to
$1.50.
Maybe it's apple juice.
We have to drink it first.
I think real champagne would be.
It would be more rewarding.
I think it would be better if it was actual champagne, but we can figure that out.
Right.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah.
But it's gonna be warm. So
it's gonna be warm. Right. Congratulations, Chicago. Yes. This weekend it's gonna be warm. So have a good time.
Yes, enjoy yourself, Chicago. All right. Well, moving right along in other news. So we want to get to a quick follow-up story. A couple episodes ago, we started talking about how the state of Illinois and all the Chicago sports teams were trying to get legislation passed to allow for sports betting in the state of Illinois. A follow-up story. So this week in the Tribune, there is some very interesting news about how sports betting may still occur, but there is an issue when it pertains to college sports. So the U.S. Supreme Court a few years ago denounced a law, or that's probably not the right word, but they basically struck down a law that kept sports betting specifically in Nevada. Okay. And so now more states have been allowing for sports betting. Illinois is one of those states. They're trying to add legislation, for those of you who didn't see the former episode, where sports teams will be getting a cut of the proceeds from the sports betting. And all the Chicago teams, other than the Bears, are on board with it because they want the extra revenue, because they're all greedy
and
people.
They need it.
But we love them. We love all of you. Sports, Cubs and the Sox and the Hawks and the Bulls and the okay. But what's interesting is that when it comes to college sports, there's a bit of an issue. And the issue is that people think that there's going to be a lot of corruption involved when it comes to us. Because now college kids are going to be like, oh, if I shave some points off the side, I'm not getting paid for this, and I should be, other than getting a scholarship, but I should be getting paid for this. So why don't I just shave some points by, missing a couple shots or not catching that pass for a touchdown, and then I'll make like a few grand. Well, this actually ended up happening.
Oh.
There is an example from Chicago because we are the home of corruption.
Yeah, it does.
And there was a scandal at Northwestern, and what ended up happening was that in the 1990s, this guy named Ken Lee was upset with his playing time at Northwestern basketball. Probably because you sucked, guy. But he recruited 2 other players. I mean, if you're not playing, it's because you probably suck, man. But he recruited 2 other players, and they basically ended up making sure that Northwestern lost the game by a certain amount of points, and they bet on Northwestern losing above that, so against the spread is what it's called, and they ended up making thousands of dollars. Funny thing for them is that a few games later they played against Michigan and weren't able to lose above the 25-point spread. They only lost by 17. They only lost by 17 points, and the spread was 25 points. So they didn't lose by enough. They ended up losing $20,000. On top of that, they ended up getting caught for shaving points, and ended up serving some jail time and having additional fines on top of the $20,000.
That's what you get.
Now Ken Lee is a motivational speaker telling young kids how to not get involved in sports gambling when they're a student.
Turn your life around.
That's
kid.
right. That's how you do it.
Wow.
So very interesting stuff. But what the state of Illinois was so they're worried about shaving points and college kids, like basically corrupting college kids in terms of sports. But they are hoping that sports betting would generate about $136 million worth of revenue for the state and for the city. But it's a big chunk of that was going to come from college sports. So there is a conundrum. Do we allow it? Do we not? One of their theories is they're saying, well, if Illinois and other colleges are playing out of state, we will allow the betting to occur. But if they're playing in state, well, you can't play. And it's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So there's a whole big thing. There was a report that came out from an economist named Justin Wolfers. Hey, another Justin. And he looked at 44,000 basketball games, and he found that about 1% of all those games were decided by quote-unquote gambling-related corruption. I mean, it's 1%. Of course, this whole paper he put out in 2006 has been refuted by some other places, but still, it's only 1%. But I guess 1% is still too much.
He watched 44,000 games.
Yeah, and he analyzed 45,000 games, and he said, of the 44,000, 1% were definitely decided by gambling-related corruption from the students and whatnot. So,
Wow.
I'm surprised it's that small.
I suppose 1% is too much. I don't know what you guys think about this. I, for one, am like, how much more betting do we need? There's enough gambling in the state of Illinois as it is. I don't know.
I just find it fascinating how hard it must be to lose a game. Like how hard you got. I want to watch the videos of young athletes who are cocky as can be, trying to pretend to miss a shot or working hard enough to do that acting. Like, oh my god, I missed. I'm so sorry. Like that's the videos I want to watch and the analyzing that I want to do to see. Like, okay, well, you got to make this look good. You got to really pretend to fuck up.
He dribbles down the lane. He gets past 3 defenders. Oh, missed a wide open layup. Oh, no.
Because I would be that fool to, like, do it and then just drop it and walk the other way. And be like,
Kids,
we're getting it.
They're too busy trying to look good.
Yeah,
right?
It's way too hard to do. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that.
Well, like, hard workers like, what, LeBron? Like, just showed, like, oh, no, you can just get straight out and just go from high school to, like, the NBA. So why waste your time trying to lose? That's why it was in the 90s.
Right,
like,
exactly.
I'd do the same thing if it was the 90s. Like, what else do you have to do?
Everything was simpler in the 90s.
It was.
It was.
It was simpler, yeah.
Technology.
And crazy. I mean,
Something.
I don't know. I just feel like allowing. I mean, it's enough for the professional sports teams to be able to bet on that because there's enough games there. I mean, between baseball, hockey, and basketball, that's almost like 350 games right there for you to bet on.
Yeah.
Then with the football season, I mean, just those 16 games and then the playoffs, that's got to be enough. And it's not just the scores and stuff, but they bet on all kinds of things within the games. So it's like, do you really need to add college to it?
Why not? I mean, they're doing it anyway.
All right.
Like, they're doing it anyway. So, you might as well let Illinois make some money because you know how broke we are.
That's true.
I
suppose.
They're betting on all this stuff.
Yeah.
NBA, college, whether it be basketball, football, they're betting on everything. They're probably betting on anything.
That's true.
I couldn't even think of nothing clever. I'm sorry. But yeah, it is what it is. Just let them tax it and make the money off of it. Put some money back in the state.
But you bring up a really good point in that the state is so broke that any money that we can get, particularly when they're saying, $136 million. So they say. That's true. $136 million of extra revenue for the state could pay for a lot of things. It could go to the pension fund, which are almost completely depleted. It could go to the roads and bridges and everything.
Okay, stop being logical, okay?
Actually.
What? Logic in Chicago?
I know, but you just hit it. The roads and stuff. There's like potholes on my block. Dude, it's like a crater. Like, you literally have to slow down to a crawl. Because if you do 5 miles per hour over that, you are tearing your shit up.
It's like that, was it State Farm commercial where the guy is yelling at the pothole? It's like, sir, are you yelling at a pothole?
Yeah.
Yes. But if that guy was in Chicago, it wouldn't be a guy feeling bad about yelling at a pothole. It'd be like, yes, bitch, I'm yelling at this pothole.
Yeah.
Fuck this pothole.
Yeah. We might as
That's
well
how you
all
feel.
just buy our own concrete and just start fixing them up.
On the real?
And just be
you
like,
know what?
no,
You know what? You know what?
New business
We'll
plan.
do that shit. And we'll be up there getting fined. Please roll it. What are you doing? Stop with your...
I said, put your hands down.
Why? It's cement,
We're
dog.
pouring cement.
We're helping the... Sir,
I don't
that's a weapon.
believe you.
That's a weapon.
Where you get that cement
What's
from,
in
boy?
the cement?
Don't
What's in there?
resist.
There's dope in that cement?
Don't resist. What? I'm just...
Bro,
don't
marijuana's legal soon. It's
You don't
fine.
even look like
Let
you
it
do
go.
construction, pretty boy. Drop that.
To be honest, though, I feel like we would run into some cops like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, shit. Yeah, no, clean it up.
I was like, y'all want to help this shit?
Sure,
No, you guys got it.
Yeah.
We'll roll off.
Looks like you're doing good.
Oh, man. Yes. So it's funny that it's a good.
I'm sorry, I gotta call that out. Okay, we all just so Manny put some information out there for us, and being us in New World,
Yeah. Also, I can't see for shit, so I'm squinting like a jackass. What is he saying? What is he saying?
oh, sorry. I just had
Whatever
to
the
call
question is, I'm just gonna say yes.
Only
Any fresh
because
out there?
y'all looked.
We have a question on Facebook.
Oh, yes,
shit.
please.
For
Let's,
Ron?
yeah, of course.
This is from Tammy Martin. She wants to know who are some of the artists you open up for that were hip hop, and what venues did you perform at?
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
so
Good
fun.
question. From Tammy.
Good one, Tammy. Artists I have opened for Wu-Tang. Love those guys.
Oh, Christ.
Several times. House of Blues for Wu-Tang. Redman, Method Man, The Roots, Mobb Deep, Capone Noriega, Tony Touch, Pharoah Monch, Talib. Done a lot of shows at the Metro.
Nice.
Man.
Can I just say I feel like Wayne from Wayne's World? Like I just want
Right?
to say we're not worthy.
Yeah,
of
we
it.
are not
Oh.
worthy. Seriously.
50. That show was super dope. 50 Cent.
my
Yeah,
God.
we were the first one
What?
to bring 50 Cent to Chicago.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so they have boats.
Bro. Yeah, they have. You know people with the boats?
I do know people about
Okay, question for Tammy. Retaliatory question. Are you cool with being our +1 female for the boat scenario that Ron has proposed?
I mean, I
Let
feel
us
like-
know.
I feel like she's gonna get us on the boat.
I know. I feel like she probably is the one who has.
We're
the
your
boats.
+3.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, can you have a +2 so I also can get on? That'd be fantastic. No, thank you for the question, Tammy, and thank you for
amazing.
watching. That's
Shit.
fantastic. But moving right along in
other
other news,
news.
talking about the roads and everything, let's talk about taxes. Because that's corruption and taxes and money is a big thing in Chicago, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
a little bit.
gentlemen, the gas taxes are going up, and so are your driver's license fees, and so are the vehicle registration fees. So, let's get to this for a quick second. So, to pay for the roads, these taxes are being proposed in the Senate, in the Illinois Senate, to help pay for the roads and bridges that are crumbling. They are crumbling roads and bridges. What happened to the law that we all passed a couple years ago, where all the money that we put on the Illinois tollway, those are only going to be for the roads and bridges? What happened to,
Oh,
what
you
happened to
thought
that
that
money?
shit was real?
Let's move. Yeah, right. Hey, go put the roads and the bridges, but
Yeah,
it's
sure.
gonna go to my cronies. Whoa, hey,
Okay.
you didn't give me a political contribution? Yeah, okay, I'll give you $2 million. You give me $1 million back. That means you get a +1 million but it's none of our money, so we all just make the money. See, so fucking Chicago.
Sounds good.
So the state gas tax is going to double to 44 cents. The driver's license fee is going to double from $30 to now $60.
What?
And
Whoa.
What?
yes, sir. Yes. The vehicle registration will be increased from $98 to $148.
Oh, God.
Here's the kicker. Here's the best one. This is one I really want to get your opinion on. So, registration fee for electric cars, wait to hear this, $17.50 to $1,000.
Wait.
And here's the reasoning. Here's the reasoning. Because electric vehicles and maintenance has cut into the state's ability to get funding for transportation issues. There's too much better gas efficiency and electric cars on the road, so that's why the fee is increased. Okay, so that's amazing stuff.
Tesla owners are going
They are gonna be
to
screwed.
be pissed.
Yes. Oh, if you own a Tesla, you
Damn!
are so screwed. You better move to the burbs.
And the Audi just dropped their electric car. That's coming out too. So watch out, y'all.
A little bit of information before I get your guys' opinion on this. So these taxes also could continue to increase as inflation goes up. So yay.
Oh, that's gonna happen.
And their hope now it's not complete. It's not passed yet. So
Okay.
so don't freak out too much. But it could happen soon. Now the reason why they're thinking this may be delayed is because J.B. Pritzker is trying to put so much legislation through with marijuana and the graduated income tax and other things that they're thinking this might not get passed for a while.
Right.
But the fact that this is even being proposed is like, oh my god. They're hoping to raise about $2.4 billion in funding for all these things. And the money is to invest in infrastructure projects that are also going to be specifically focused on minority-owned businesses and female or woman-owned businesses.
Okay.
They're working on a capital bill in the Senate. It actually has some Republican support, which I'm a little surprised about, but okay. And the Illinois Chamber of Commerce has approved, or not approved, but they are in support of this bill, as long as they also decrease the sales tax on gas, which is currently sitting at 6.25%. So a little bit of a tit for tat. So either way, like for me, as I'm going to be purchasing a new car soon, and I do currently have a car in the city, the registration fee going up and just the gas in general. I mean, gas is already almost $4 a gallon right now in the city. Mm-hmm. For God's sakes, if you put more of a tax on it, I mean, Chicago is one of the highest taxed cities in the country already.
Yes.
Also for gas. So, I mean, for goodness sakes, it makes you not. I mean, I know a lot of friends who don't have cars in the city. I almost feel like being one of them at this point because what the hell?
So there's a lot of good thing about Chicago is the public transportation system is the best in the country.
That is
Trains, the bus routes and everything, it makes sense. But those people, they own vehicles. For instance, people on the south side, they have to drive to get to everywhere because, their stores, grocery stores may not have,
essential needs, anything,
Right.
really.
Yeah.
Yes.
it might not be the healthiest or have the freshest produce and things there. So they have to drive to get to those places. And those people that are living, check to check or lower income, maybe some government assistance, they may still have a car. And these are people that actually work hard. These aren't people that's trying to take advantage of the system, but these are people that work hard, go to work every day, try to take care of their kids, try to do things the right way. They're going to suffer.
Yeah.
And then a lot of these people, your job, you go where the money is. What if these people work out in the suburbs?
Right.
They work out in the Schomburgs or the Glenviews and places like that where I'm used to driving when I was back working corporate, living in the city. That is going to destroy them.
Yep. It's just going to increase. The increase, and Chicago already has a declining population rate, which we've discussed on this podcast at great length already. These amount of this is why people are leaving. It's like you have to. I get the state needs money, and there's things that we need money for, but you have to be more creative. And also, we've talked about all kinds of other crazy projects where money's been going to. Maybe don't put money into those. We don't need a George Lucas. Thank God we didn't do the George Lucas Star Wars Museum, for God's sakes. And the whole Lincoln Yards project. You could have taken those billions of dollars and put it into the roads. Crazy.
But
it's
every
crazy where money
every
goes.
time you say a number, because this is like I 7th week you've thrown out a number that I'm just like, where are you coming up with these billions and millions of dollars that you either assume we're going to get in or what you're trying to take from us?
Chicago Tribune.
It ain't just hair, it's a brain in there.
Yeah, right?
It's a brain in there.
Like,
I got a brain in there. I'm not like the scarecrow. I got a brain in there.
but then it's also crazy because, you know what? I'm going to be honest. I don't go to the DMV if I don't have to. There will be no way on God's green fucking earth I'm paying $60 for an ID.
That is
Kiss my black ass because that is not happening.
I'm gonna draw my shit.
You come in there, you just drop me like,
give me a brown crayon.
No one,
I'm
Too dark. That's too damn dark.
the bar industry
Like-
is suffering.
like-
Nobody wants to get in because they got nothing to check. Sir, can you get in? I need to check your ID. No, I don't, bitch. I'm gonna buy a beer. That's all my ID you need.
You know how much it is? That's $60. That's
$60. I bet you people want me. Man, that's.
Do you have an ID? Yeah, at the DMV because I ain't paying $60 to fucking
Yeah.
No.
Yes, you
Man,
can call the
that's-
DMV and check for me if
that's
you will. I'm
mean.
gonna go grab myself a beer. Thank
It's
you very
real
much.
mean, y'all.
Wow.
$60.
Crazy.
But hold up though. What's that? What was the registration for the electric cars? It went from what? to-
$17.50 to $1,000.
What was the first number?
that? $17.50.
$17.50.
I triple checked that number while I was reading because that seemed egregious, and it is
It's
egregious.
very egregious.
It's crazy. That's.
You wanna know what it
if
is,
you
too?
own a Tesla or any other or a Prius, get the hell out of the city. Thanks for saving our world and our environment and trying to do your part as a good citizen, but fuck you.
Hey,
you have to pay more.
Hey man, whoever came up with that tax, they obviously was like, God damn it, I can never get an electric car. I'm gonna fix it for y'all.
But then I wouldn't want to be the person who's getting
He's
like,
driving
who
shit.
had it $17.50. I wouldn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, my shit is $1,000. You're like, okay, so I wouldn't say a fucking word. I'd be like,
No,
I'm
seriously,
paying $17.50. I'm not
whoever
saying
pushed
a
that
word.
through, man, they driving like a Chevy.
Yeah.
And you know Chevy gonna be the last one to go electric.
You look.
Seriously, we'll be flying before they shit
That's
go
right.
electric.
That's
man.
right.
Like, you don't even need it.
Well,
Don't even need it.
Was it is it Ford or Chevy that's like a rock?
That's Ford.
Ford.
That's Ford?
Yeah.
See, I think Ford.
Yeah.
I think Detroit-born Ford is going to be like, oh, no, they done electric. Never mind. So I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Never
Ford
mind.
got electric.
Ford's
And
got
you know what?
electric.
Chevy
my
may
bad.
have one too, but
You don't see it. I don't know it.
Man, just, it's just like, yeah, we don't care about the environment in Chicago. Guzzle gas. Yeah, but who cares? It's gonna be fine. Who cares if we turn into China and Beijing and Shanghai? Nobody cares about people's lungs. Screw it. Why the hell do you make us do a fucking emissions test for our fucking cars if you don't care?
wait.
Wrong
I got
with
one
you
for you.
people.
Why in the fuck are all the emission places out in the burbs now?
Yeah, good point. They closed down the one on Webster.
Yeah, I
which
know,
pissed
it was
me off.
convenient.
So
Like,
convenient.
seriously?
Now you have to go to Skokie.
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 Get all the way to Skokie.
Skokie.
Yo, that's
Get
so
your bagels and your schmears with this in Skokie. Get some corned beef.
Hey, I gotta slow down in Skokie because
They got good corned beef though.
They have good corned
And
beef.
they do.
Like,
There's an amazing
They
Jewish
have
deli
great
up
corned
there.
beef.
I kind of am okay with it because it's like, oh, now I have a reason to go to the Jewish deli. I wish I remember the name of it. I can't remember it. Zingerman's is up in Ann Arbor. It's not Zingerman's. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's so good. They have some good bagels.
They have some good bagels.
I eat the popcorn. I eat the corned beef before I even get home. It's like, oh no, I have no corned beef for the sandwich. I gotta go back and get my corned beef.
Wait till
That
you
shit ain't the middle.
eat in the
Oh,
car,
God.
driving and eating. So
Corned
you that
beef.
guy.
You
You that
pull
guy
up
that
and
you
he
pull
just
up
like,
next to and eat.
Eat
Just
corned
straight.
beef.
He just straight barehanded.
Like,
Just
what the hell is he doing?
just straight cuff
Just-
corn.
I just
beef.
take the whole pound and just stuff my face of corn. I just going at it.
You turn like white people. Shit.
That's some white people shit right there, man.
Why is that guy's car hitting to a tree? Oh, he was stuffing his face with corned beef and bagels.
Like,
He must stop at that deli up in
Oh
Skokie.
my
right?
god. Oh yeah, he must have gone to that deli in Skokie. They have great corned beef. Alright, anyway, moving right along in our nose. Norm, you have another story?
Yeah,
about
so
someone
this is the 5th year. This awesome freaking. Okay, so this individual started a front porch concerts. They're front porch concerts. I'm gonna say it one more time. Front porch concerts. To me, that sounds fucking brilliant because I don't like paying a ton of money for concerts. So the fact that someone's playing, like a band, like people just come up, they play music on other people's front porch. It's not your front porch, and you can loiter around and listen to people play. This is starting June 2nd. It's returning for the 5th year. They're going to be doing it in 8 North Side neighborhoods this summer. And I'm going to kill her name, but Carissa Macronay launched the series 5 years ago after she graduated from DePaul. And she's just pretty much she's like, I love local music. I love local shows. This is the greatest thing to do. And so it's blown up since then. And yeah, June 2nd, you can, I think, RSVP for certain ones. All you have to do is go to pfconcerts.com, I think.
We'll include that in,
yeah.
and we'll include the link in there.
www.fpconcerts.com is where you would go. And I mean, we're talking like some interesting artists that are going to be, personally, I think we should go. Because I would just love to see people play on a porch.
Absolutely.
And then stare at this porch because I don't have a porch.
Hey, I am down for porch playing, man.
Right?
Yes.
Like porch playing. And then, maybe they might, call some people up. And,
That'd be dope.
And
like the hosts of the Chicago 60 podcast
right?
and or one
What if we
famous
did a-
Ron Russell.
what if we did a podcast on the porch?
Yeah, I'd be down. Hey, that would be hilarious.
That'd be great.
I'm down for anything on a porch, man.
A porch
Long as
podcast.
that porch is reinforced.
Right?
That's true.
It's
A
gotta be
reinforced
legit.
porch is
Reinforced
needed.
porch is needed.
I'm
Yes.
a fan of a wraparound porch because, I'm from the South and, we love the wraparound. So
Those would be dope. Yeah.
I'd like to do a podcast on a wraparound porch, too.
Many a good porch there are in the city and other places of convenience.
Yeah, but that's it. Take a look at it. fpconcerts.com, frontporchconcerts.com.
We will go, we will scope it out and tell you all about it. We will do more about that on the podcast, and we will include the link in the description coming up on YouTube and on the Facebook Live after we cancel out of here. We'll put that on there so that all y'all can go check it out. We will be there so you can meet us, the stars.
If you want.
If you really want to. All right. Thank you, Norm, for that interesting story. Now, let's move on. I know that Ron has previous engagements, so we have to get out of here, but that's fine because it has now come to our favorite portion of the podcast. It's time for the Jag-Off of the Week! This week, Norm, we have a couple of interesting Jag-Offs. Everybody, we're going to say goodbye to Ron. Bye, Ron. Bye, Ron. Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
We did that so that we wouldn't hear the noise of the door opening and closing, but then we just talked about it, and now we also have his beer, so let's pour it into our beers. Yay, pour it into our beers. I knew Ron was good for something, and that was the extra beer. Just kidding, we love Ron. So, yes, the Jag-Off of the Week. The Jag-Off of the Week. Well, there are two, actually, that we have.
Ooh, fancy.
One's we keep having like multiple, and one of them is very simple. Every kicker that has gone to Bears training camp, you're all a bunch of Jag-Offs, okay? You're a bunch of Jag-Offs because you can't hit a 43-yard field goal. You're getting put in a big circle, and you have to do... They're making people stand in the front, so they have like competitions, and the kickers have to stand in the middle of everybody else on their squad, and the rest of the squad has to do like burpees and push-ups and shit, and they have to watch.
Oh,
I mean, talk about horrific.
All
of those dudes hate that dude.
Yeah.
Like, what a way. I mean, that's supposed to build camaraderie. That is I'll tell you what, I would not miss another kick, because I'd be like, these people are gonna murder me. I'm gonna get murdered.
Remember, I think they're forgetting. The fact of the matter is, laces out, okay? Everyone already knows that. Laces out.
Laces out,
Laces out.
Laces out.
Like, I mean, Finkel is Einhorn, Einhorn is Finkel, Finkel
There's something on the ring.
Something. We saw it happen. We knew it was coming to fruition. We need you to kick a field goal, okay?
Yes.
So that's if you can pay tons of money to just do that.
Yes. If your only job is to put an oblong-shaped ball that was also part of our cartoon named Hey Arnold through two goalposts, then you should be able to do that.
That would be the best damn kicker you've ever seen if you were paying me that much money. But, like, how does he magically get it through every single time? Well, for one, I learned magic. And because, I mean, I'm out there paying me, I learned physical fucking magic. And now I just make the ball happen. Like, I would manipulate the ball with a drone. Like, I would do whatever I could. I would steroid, I would cheat, I would buy a fake ball. I would have them actually computer generate a ball just magically always going through every time I kicked it. I would do whatever physically, mentally,
I would develop a device to make a hologram that would show a physical ball going through properly through the goalposts, even if my actual physical ball missed completely, to trick the referees into thinking that the ball actually went through the uprights correctly. That's how much I would be dedicated to that shit.
I would hire Nicolas Cage to steal the ball, okay, without anyone knowing, all right? Steal the ball, and then magically put it on the other side and find out that the Mona Lisa was fake. Like, I would do it right there.
Yeah, I would write a fantasy story about the football and how it went through a long journey and trek with 7 other individuals to get to the place where the ball should be, and they had to fight orcs and goblins and all other manner of creatures to get through the uprights correctly, and then I would be the one to drop it through, and then the referees would be like, yay, you got it. That's how much I would do it.
You know, I would go to detention with the ball, okay? And with the ball and other ball friends of his from different people who have also missed the ball, and we would all go to detention together. And at first we would hate each other, but then we become good friends, and then we dance a lot, and then I'd put each one of them through this, crazy field goal post, and then, I throw my fist in the air because, I made the kick. That's what I would do to the ball. I would do that to the ball.
I would travel to the depths of the oceans where there was a sunken ship, and I would find the treasure that is the football, bring it back out, get it through the goalposts, and then provide it to an old woman who would then drop the ball back into the ocean to whence it came, just for the one moment of making sure it went through the uprights.
I wouldn't let the ball go.
In other news, we have another jag-off of the week.
That would have lasted. Lucky we stopped there, because that would have gone on for at least 3 hours.
Yeah, I didn't think those. Anyway, the guys who are in Bear training camp, you're a bunch of jag-offs, make a bunch of kicks, you jag-offs, okay? But now we have a serious jag-off, a legitimate jag-off. Yes. That was a funny jag-off. This is a legitimate jag-off. Yeah. So, Norm, very interesting. There is an officer of the police force, of the CPD, and his name is Officer Corey Deans. I believe it's Deans. The only reason why I am saying his name is because it was in the Tribune, so it's already public information, so I have no problem saying his name. Make him famous. The reason why he is currently under indictment is because he inappropriately touched 3 women whilst on duty in the North Side. He was in a marked car. His bail has been set at $200,000 because the judge said the judge said, and I quote, that his behavior was, quote, troubling and disturbing, end quote. No shit.
No.
Stop touching women, man.
No.
You're a police officer. What in the hell are you doing? Now there is camera footage that corroborates that he is actually the officer. And it corroborates the stories these 3 women have said that this officer, Corey Deans, has done to them. This doesn't really help the whole cops are good scenario.
It doesn't at all.
Me too. Hashtag me too, man. I mean, not me, but that's not me too.
Come on, your job is to protect and serve, and if you're copping feels, just to, sorry. No,
oh my God!
I didn't catch it until that second ago. But
I know, that was.
And that's not what it's supposed to be.
That's not.
But seriously, what the fuck, man? Keep your hands to yourself. You're a fucking officer. You're fucking Chicago's best, right?
Yeah, you're not the TSA, okay? Unless you think there's actual drugs or something.
Yeah, but
even then, come on.
Still, come on. You shouldn't be the one feeling these women.
Right.
You can easily get a lady cop,
right.
A female officer, to come and check those women. Come on, dude. You're a jag-off.
You're a jag-off, Officer Corey Deans. You're a jag-off. Stop touching women inappropriately. I don't think he's going to because he's going to be in jail.
Ooh, and if you have a wife,
he's going to jail.
Yeah.
So, but God, man.
Ooh, and they're going to inappropriately touch him all in that jail. Ooh.
Oh, a cop in jail who inappropriately touched a woman? Yeah, I don't think he's going to do well
I don't think he's going to do
in the jail town.
They're going to search him for drugs for a long time.
Yep. I'm going to tell him what. He's going to be smuggling some shit up his ass for a while, that's for sure. Why do they get uncomfortable?
They're going to cut the field.
Anyway, Officer Corey Deans, you're a jag-off! Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, that was the podcast, another episode of the Chicago 60 Podcast. We want to thank Ron Russell for coming and being our guest. He's no longer here, but give it up for Ron. Give it up for Manny Fresh. And then he's got all the fancy gear. You all can't see it. We got all this fancy gear up in here. Now, if you enjoyed... Yes, thank you, man. I didn't mean to take your time there from your one moment. Please say it again.
No, thank you.
Okay, all right.
Appreciate you guys.
Anyway.
He's like, okay.
He's all right. That's okay. That's good. Nobody heard me. But if you enjoyed what you listened to tonight, please follow us on Facebook and like our Facebook page at Chicago 60 SIXTY spelled out. Okay. You can also go to YouTube. Subscribe there. Just type in Chicago 60 and you'll find it. Chicago space 60. Look us up on YouTube because in the future, coming soon, there will be content that you will not be able to see unless you subscribe to the YouTube channel. So make sure you go to the YouTube channel and subscribe because then you won't see that additional content, which is important. Because if you don't go subscribe to the content, then you don't subscribe. I love you. All right. So you can also go to our Instagram page and follow us there because we'll be putting out all kinds of new stuff on there at Chicago_60 with a 60. That is at Chicago_60. Follow us there. We're just starting out, but very soon in the upcoming months, we're going to be coming out with sketch comedy that's going to feature Ron. We're going to have our Couch Story segment coming out. We're going to be putting out crazy photos. We're going to be going to events and posting photos. And it's going to be all kinds of different content coming from different segments. So if you're not following us on all of these platforms, you will miss stuff. So follow us now, early, and you'll see everything. And of course, go to iTunes and subscribe there. Leave us a review. Leave us a comment. We'd love for you to do that because that only helps us. And very soon we'll also be doing merchandise and fundraising so you can help us monetarily so we can continue to bring this amazing content. So
One other thing, we want to shout out to Ted Patterson for leaving us a review. Thank you so much. Love what you do. Look at his shit too. He does great artwork, balloon art, all sorts of stuff. If you're in Charlotte, the Charlotte area, if you're in South Carolina, period, fucking hire him. He's a fucking genius. He's brilliant.
Excellent. Excellent. Cheers to Ted Patterson.
Cheers,
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers to you,
Cheers to you
for your review. Appreciate it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, again, please go follow us on everything. And we have to end every episode of the Chicago 60 Podcast with our favorite phrase. Norm, you know it so well.
Oh, yes.
Here we go. Bear down and fuck the Packers! See you later, everybody. See you next week.
See ya.